Right, so, Peter, are you ready for this? Because we were just talking behind and kind of saying how surreal this is for you. For us both.
When it's just you and I talking, it's very comfortable. In front of many faces, very, very many of you I don't know, I've never met. I probably should say hello, good evening. My name's Peter, more affectionately known as Jude's dad. So I'm an advocate of my son, Jude, who became, out of the blue, disabled back in 2023. Completely normal outdoor boy. Should I?
Yeah, go for it.
We kind of give you a bit of background on Jude. So yeah, very much an outdoory boy. We, especially during lockdown, we'd do 10, 12 miles of cycling with this lovely little off-road loop along the river. Swimming, snorkeling. He was snorkeling from the age of 6. He was like a fish. 4 hours, you try and get back to sea. We'd argue for about an hour. We're like, there you go, there's your 4th hour, mate. You can get out now. And then he started to have some symptoms. It was a very slow burn. It manifested into something that we never have imagined. In fact, so much so that Jude is clinically one of 9 billion people. So Jude is one of 1 in the whole world with his condition. We believe he's the only one that's actually survived his condition. He fell into respiratory arrest on the 9th of February 23 and woke up for his coma 5 days later on his birthday. And actually remembered it was his birthday. He doesn't remember remembering because of the drugs and the meds and everything he was on. But he's lost the ability to completely move. So he's lost his complete motor function out of nowhere. So being this happy-go-lucky outdoor boy, busting out 12 miles off-road, I was a very enthusiastic cyclist back in my day. So for us to ride, I haven't actually ridden my bike for 2.5 years because of this. It's always been our special thing to do as father and son, and as mates. You know, we are each other's best mates. Although there's a good 30 odd years between us, but I'm still dad. So yeah, sadly he fell poorly and spent best part of 311 days to be precise in hospital. Most of that was spent in high dependency, 16 weeks of that was spent in intensive care. Which kind of leads me on to how we met, really.
Yeah, I'll just rip the questions up because you're just basically going straight through it.
Yes. This is what happened. So,
You're literally doing them in order. That's amazing.
This
Can't
is
go.
It's like we may have rehearsed this.
Yeah, we haven't.
2 minutes behind. But yeah, genuinely, we was at a loss. Being the parents of able-bodied children, you never ever think that our children would then change so drastically and life would change literally overnight. And it was overnight. Jude fell into his coma, respiratory arrest at about 8 o'clock that morning. And by the time they blue lighted him to London, before Emma and I even realised, Emma's my wife, Jude's mum, before we even realised, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. And we was like, wow, where have the last 20 odd hours gone? Our boy's seriously poorly. There was, I think on the count we had 28 lines coming out of him. All different sensors, fluids and tests. They done tests for about 4 weeks and still to this day, 2.5 years later, they don't know the cause of what it is. So Jude's got a condition. The cause is unknown. The symptoms are an axonal motor neuropathy. So basically for me as a parent, in simple terms, obviously we've learned quite a lot in 2.5 years, he's lost the complete function of his motor nerves. So you can imagine a 12-year-old boy is trapped in his body completely. And being 12, he quite happily sits at home watching YouTube. We like car videos, we was car enthusiasts and we still are. It's just changed. Hence Silverstone in the background. It's a very special place for us before and after, which I'll get onto later on.
Well, when you say later on,
yeah, sort of. I've only got I could be here for hours. I'm sorry. This is for us as parents. It's obviously a big story that we like to share to basically prove what tonight's all about. Really, is
absolutely
there is always hope. There is always adventure. to say that going back into intensive care in those moments, Jude was given a wheelchair for the very first time. And I remember it being wheeled in, and it was a lone wheelchair. This is similar to the one that he's got now, it's his permanent chair. And his eyes, so he had functionality, and he's still got good functionality in his eyes, so his eyes open wide as if to say, and I pardon my French here, sorry for young ears, shit, Dad, I'm going in a chair. We sobbed as parents, I will.
Try to.
It's tough. To see him have the fear of going in a chair. For us, it was like, yeah, he's out of bed. This is great. He's woke up out of his coma. We've got him. We're suddenly 8 to 10 weeks in of his illness, still harnessing the fact that Jude's ill, and we're still going, I'll be all right. We'll get over it. We'll get the drugs in you. We'll get you trained. We'll do rehab. We'll be fine. The realisation set in that he's going to be in a chair. Wow, where do we go with this? We're used to having, with Jude and then Elodie, subsequently 8 years later, our daughter, Jude's sister. So you're used to having buggies, wheelchairs, complaining about pavements, drop curbs, and everything else that's in the way of buggies. Suddenly you've got a boy who can't move, his head wobbles everywhere, and boy does he get pissed off with his head wobbling. Wow. We've found some really good neck pillows now. It's taken a while, but yeah, you're going down the pavement, getting pavement rage now, because his head's wobbling everywhere. And we was like, he's getting in a chair, he is so frightened. I was like, how do I explain to a then 10-year-old boy, life's going to be okay? It's not for him. He's seen this wheelchair, he's like, no chance. Us as mum and dad were like, we have no idea what on earth we're getting into. How do we do this? Being as you do, you're sitting on the wall, due to sleep, so you sit there, back in the chair, feet up, phone in hand. Instagram, Facebook, yeah, boring. Oh. Hello, Nick. Didn't know Nick then. Not at all. But there's a guy in an off-road wheelchair. Shit, Jude, you got to look at this. I even woke him up. He's faced it up like a Christmas tree. I was like, and I'll use this word now that we've come to terms with massively.
Time to get up, Dean.
Not much, not even.
And the word was, Jude, how fun does this look? And straight away, our outlook of how the future looked changed. I sent Nick a message. Unbeknown to me, your reaction, your emotion to it, I just thought I was just some random bloke texting another random bloke. Hey mate, your chair looks fun. You're not realising that.
Yeah, you never know.
And it was that simple. But that one video lit up his life. We've always been outdooring people, we've always been up for a bit of a challenge, a bit of a laugh, getting out and about and doing things. Suddenly we was like, okay, we've got a future here. How does this look? And it's just snowballed from there. We was lucky to get the opportunity to take Jude away for 4 nights down in Chelsea. I don't know if the gentleman who arranged that for us.
Steve, there's a big hand. Holistic Thinking Holidays.
Thank you, because what you've done for us on that one little break made us realise as new parents of a disabled child, a quadriplegic tracky vented child, sounds a bit complicated, but we may seem to make it look easy apparently, is that we realised we could go out and do things. So now we're on the beach, his toes are in the sand on his normal chair. Then we've obviously got the idea of RockClimber, so we're going out and about. So in July this year, being a massive Formula 1 fans that we are, and we've been to Silverstone twice camping, by the way, whilst Jude was in hospital, Make-A-Wish got involved and took Jude for a day out. I said to him, it's not going to stop there, mate, we're going to go. So this year we camped for 4 days. I'm sorry we haven't got a picture of it, I'll be able to show. We set up his van with an awning, all his medical kit, mobile hoist, just a mate of mine, myself as nurse and dad, and Jude, and we camped for 4 whole nights in a field near Silverstone and done the Formula 1. This kid's quadriplegic tracky vented. All it needed was planning, and in your head, this is going to be fun. And every day was fun. Even on the Sunday, when we thought he was knackered, I underestimated him. Because he'd give me the eyeballs, and he rocks his eyes, so how he communicates with us. Very similar to what Stephen Hawking used with his computers and eye gates. And I know many other people use eye gates as well. that he was rolling his eyes from left to right, and I was like, do you need a wee? Do you need the toilet? Are you okay? Are you not uncomfortable? And a friend of mine, Andy, went, do you want to go back out? Boom. I straight on. I was like, oh, right, okay. Party. Sunday night, we've done 3 nights already. Here we are. We're out on the big wheel, going around the big wheel, Becky Hill, the last half hour, and he was up for a party. He'd already done a whole hour and a half set of Fatboy Slim on the opening weekend. And this is a 12-year-old boy, and he realises now that being in a chair is fun, and it's not going to stop him. So as mum and dad, as his advocates, we won't stop. And I think that's why it's so important for the likes of tonight, as we talk about it. It's not just always the person that's in the chair, it's the family that's around them, it's their support network. Because suddenly they get involved, they believe it's fun, they believe you can get access to the wider world. Suddenly you're off-roading, bumping. We went through the gravel trap at Silverstone. It's 20 metres deep. From front to back it's about 8 inches deep of gravel, proper big, thick 20mm gravel. His head's popping around everywhere. We're dragging him backwards. Everyone's looking at us like, you two blokes are crazy. What are you doing with him? He was as happy as anything because for him, fun. And that seems to always be the very first moment from the advocate of messaging Nick going, damn, hold on a minute, there's a future in this. And from then onwards, those 311 days really faded so quickly. 2.5 years in, literally February 23, Jude got home just in time for Christmas, wheeled him in the door. We all sobbed on Christmas Day, it was a milestone. But there's so many more to come. I think what Nick's got to show will show that actually there's more than what I'm just going on about, and being the parent of a child with disabilities, there's adults that want to be the same and do their own thing and find independence, and you'll see this now probably coming from
I mean, you know, a lot of you know the work that I do around accessibility, and it all started kind of 18 months ago when I became reliant on my wheelchair in 2023, declining 7 prolapse discs in my spine, experiencing chronic nerve pain 24/7. I can't remember the last minute when I haven't been in chronic pain. And I'm ambulatory, so I can still stand up and I can wobble around the flat. And that's not because I'm fat, although no, actually it is partly because I'm fat. But I can wobble around it and stuff like that. But sitting upright, that's why I tilted back, because I can't sit upright for too long. I can literally be laid up for 3-4 days if I stay sat upright for too long. Same with being stood up. And now it's gone down to my shoulders, my arms, my elbows, my wrists. I've gone really weak in my left arm and my left wrist. So it's all, it's a declining condition. And so I started doing these videos kind of going, how the chuffing hell are you supposed to get around in a chair? And then it's not just a manual wheelchair. And you've got to be careful in the disabled community, because if you say too much on one side, you get told off quite a bit by the other side. So it's, you know, there's pros and cons to manual chairs and power chairs. One of the biggest one for power chairs, especially modern day power chairs. This chair is a £14,000 chair, right? It weighs 225 kilos before my fat ass is sat in it. Yes, thank you. So, thought you'd like that one, eh? And there's a new law that's come in whereby if your chair or scooter is over 150 kilos in weight, you legally have to ride in the road. So now this is 225 kilos. The police can take my chair away, arrest me if they want, and fine me for riding on the pavement. And there was a story recently where an old guy actually had his mobility scooter or his wheelchair taken off him by the police because he was over the weight. How the hell they realised he was over 150 kilos? Not like you have one of those weighing machine's in your back pocket of a pound car, is it? No, it isn't. So they did that, and like if you're in Toast or around here, you will see a video at some point, and I'm going to ride from my house to Tesco's up the A5 Trunk Road in the chair, because that's what the law tells me I have to do. And we'll film it, obviously, and record how many people beep and swear and shout at me. But the point is, you know, these are the kind of things, and I started doing filming it because I couldn't believe in the year 2023, 2024, I can't cross this road because there's no drop curb. A chair can't go down anything more than a 6 centimetre step. Depending on your condition, you might not even be able to do a 2 centimetres, it might be too much for you. And before I've had to go half a mile backwards to be able to cross to come back. You hear, if you can hear, yeah, that's a chair users around going, yes. And so I was filming all this, and it became all about accessibility. Initially, I was angry. And picking up everyone and anyone, and I'll be honest. And that's how dare you do this, and all this kind of stuff. And as we know, social media, those ones where you get angry and shout, they tend to get the more views. If you sit there and go, oh, this was nice, none. But I've been on a journey for it as well. And when I started this journey with RockClimber, which all began when I was running a men's mental health group in Toaster called Talk Mental Health, and I was introduced to a local firm in Toaster called Rock Engineering. Andrew is here somewhere. Stick your big paw up, Andrew. He's in the back. There he is, up his head. And him and Elliot, and I naively went, yeah, I just, give us a chair with 4 wheels, a couple of batteries, a seat, and a couple of motors, because I want to go up Snowdon. All right. A couple of weeks later, they got back in touch, and they were like, actually, yeah, we want to do this with you. And that's basically how RockClimber came about. But it was about very much our vision, because they were the first ones to really believe in my vision. And I can't tell you how much that means. You got your first message of someone going, because of what you've done, I'm going to do this. And what? Because we spoke about this.
Yeah, we spoke about your reaction to mine. I go back to my 2 blokes just saying, yeah, your chair's fun.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was that. But what you said was Silverstone, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was taking Jude to Silverstone camping. I posted on a closed Facebook group for Silverstone for accessibilities, and out of the blue, a lady messaged me. She's like, my husband's got motor neurone disease. It's fairly settled, but he's unable to get from chair to bed. He can't get upstairs or anything like that, so he couldn't use a camper van. He see Jude camping and just went straight away, I can do that. I cried for 20 minutes when she messaged me and said, we've booked for next year. I was like, what, the Silverstone tickets have come out already? I was like, hold on, I've missed the trick here. It was the camping. I'd already been booked, I camping, but they'd done the same thing. And I said to Jude, do you realise the impact of you as a 12-year-old boy? Dad being an absolute idiot, going, yeah, it'll be all right. Actually worked out in the end. And we had a few wobbles. I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. You're up most of the night, you're a nurse, you're doing things, but you manage it, you prepare. And this is one thing I shared with a lot of people in the group, was preparation. But yeah, it was the emotion of like, now I know what you mean. Now I know when someone says to you, I've done this because of, yeah, me as dad, probably being the idiot, but Jude being the hero. And like you was to Jude, especially to me, looking on going, hold on,
yeah,
this is way better than what the fear is.
And it was, the vision has always been about accessibility, yeah, but it's adapting, which we've said, and adapting and accepting is probably the 2 key things at the heart of all of it.
Angry with pavements as well.
Yeah?
adapting to angry with pagans.
Yeah, I'm still not good around that one. So, but it was when we started talking, and then I got them up to Silverstone, and it was the winter, wasn't it, for the circuit tour.
It was a chilly day.
It was a chilly day.
Still a really good day.
It was amazing.
My goodness.
And Silverstone Museum organised it for us, and they did a full private tour with Rob, the gear guy from Silverstone Museum. Actually, they used my van as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they got a full private tour of the circuit.
Do 160 mile hour.
Pit roads, yeah, good luck on my car. Well, no, it doesn't. I've tried. I haven't met. Very good boy. And it was that, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then the one thing that you said to me just before we did the private screening of me dipping my toe in the water and going, is this film any good? Or I know I'll get some close people around and play it safe first. And he was like, well, yeah, you know, what you've done is made Jude's motivation in rehab. He's progressed a lot more because of you and what you're doing. And 20 minutes of crying. And that was the moment when it changed from purely about accessibility, and it changed to include fun. And it was brought on by Peter and a 12-year-old lad reminding me that life has to be about adventures and making those happy memories when you can, so when you're going through the crap, you can remember those fun times. You can remember when you did something, when you laughed, when you had a shared moment with someone, even if it's the briefest of things, that can literally prevent you from tail spinning into a very dark place. And now we've kind of adapted the message to be about, yes, accessibility is infrastructure, yes, it is financial accessibility, digital accessibility, but it's got to be more. It's become very formal. It's become about infrastructure. It's become very building regs and compliancy, and I get that's part of it, but it's totally lost its way from enabling fun and enabling people to make memories.
I think you get, especially from us, from a 12-year-old's point of view, he just wants to get out and about. He doesn't want dad moaning about no drop curbs or dodgy pavements, but then sees a little bit of an off-road path or a bit of camping. You put the right tools in place and you go ahead with it. And
but I'm 49 and I want to do that.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. By seeing a 12-year-old do it, it has now made, I don't know the gentleman's age, but someone messaged me to say they're not going to go camping. And it's that fun element of, he's gone camping still. Life's changed drastically in those 2.5 years, from the 3.5 years when we last camped at Silverstone, in exactly the same field, just a little bit closer this time because of his wheelchair, really handy.
There are benefits.
Yeah, there's definitely benefits, yeah. And you get a lot of eye rolls still, I must admit, from Jude, but anyway. But it was the same field, 3.5 years later. 3.5 years prior to that, he was walking around that field with his flags from his shirt, ready for the day to go and see Sebastian Vettel go around. This year, Sebastian Vettel's retired. He's now a McLaren boy. He's in his McLaren merch, as you see in the picture earlier. He was so over the moon, so happy that he forgot about his chair, forgot about his ventilator, forgot about his trackie, his meds at 12, his meds at 4. Do you need a wee? Do you need that? That was all forgotten about. He was just a 12-year-old boy having fun with his dad. And it's the same with mum going out. It's the same as Nick was saying, in your later 20s, should I say, 30s, 40s?
Oh, no, what, me? No. 49, from George Clooney,
It's still fun.
Good. All right.
But there's still that element of fun, and I think that's what's part of the life that comes in.
I know you look like it.
But you still get that element.
It is the fun, and everyone that has spoken to me online, who's dropped the messages, and and that we've seen is the fun. It just does come back to fun, but you've then got to try and find the business case for it, because there is a financial aspect to it,
Massively.
and that is what will wrap up tonight. Will be some, I promise you, kick-ass, amazing announcements that we got for you, because I really think that this is going to change. It's the right time. It is the right time. We're building momentum, and we've now got actual case studies to prove that it results in increased number of visitors. Well, there's your business case right there. There's your financial tick in the box. Increase your visitors, whether it's a venue up to a county, travel and tourism, National Trust, all the work that I do with National Trust with the accessibility videos. They're seeing a rise in followers, engagement, visitors, paying members. So it is now going in the right way, but we need to ensure that fun stays at the heart of it. There's a big battle ahead, but I really wanted to do this first. So when you're watching the film, please have this in mind, because for me, for Peter, for Jude, for others, it provides a different perspective and context. And the only thing I would say with yes, it's a mountain. I got a lot of grief going, but I can't go up a mountain. No, I know not everyone can go up a mountain. I get that. But we wanted to show how giving people the right equipment, that can help to overcome some accessibility obstacles. So it's an extreme version, but again, we got some very exciting something to show you following this. And this is just the start off. To wrap this up, short responses. One, I didn't tell you this question on purpose.
Yes.
How you are very quick to talk about Jude, Emma, kids, everything else, but how are you?
Scared. If I'm honest, obviously it's probably a bit too honest maybe. We don't know what the future looks like for the little man. We will always be his advocate. Because he is genuinely one of one on the whole planet, we don't know what the future looks like. So yeah, in a nutshell, scared. But I've also got faith. I've got faith in Jude. I've got a wonderful family around me. Emma and I are completely different people, but we understand the same things for Jude. Learning how to be ventilator trained, tracheostomy trained. We both looked at each other and was like, and Emma looked at me like, you're the engineer. I was like, thanks, no pressure. She aced it as well because she realised that we are the advocates of his life. You have an emotional response to what you're learning and a dedicated, vested interest into why you're learning. But yeah, in a nutshell, scared. The future looks really wobbly, if I'm honest. All the things you hear in politics, in the papers. I mean, you read something like the Daily Mail, it scares the life out of you, so you try to read it. But you know, social media, there's always bad news travels way better than good news. And we just need good news sometimes just to outweigh the bad. The likes of Nick's story, Jude's story, there's countless others that don't get shared enough to realise that the world's a turbulent place. We can make it better, we can make it stronger, helping each other. But even as able-bodied as I am, I'm Jude's voice and his thoughts and feelings. He's non-verbal. I'm his dad, I'm his champion in a way. So I have to be his advocate. If he knows I'm scared, he'll be scared. He's probably seeing this now or he'll see the video later. but he also knows that I've got faith and belief in him, and he's got belief in me. You just need to have belief in the system, which is probably where we wobble. That fear that we had initially was just a lack of education. The more we learn, the less fear. We're still scared. As I say, my overarching first emotion will always be scared, but we'll always find a way around it.
Would
I
that
suppose
be
I'm
your
picking
message as well then? To the last one, what would be your message to people, families who are going through this?
I would look on to it to say to everyone and anyone, whether you're experiencing a disability for the first time, becoming a carer, becoming responsible with someone with a disability, or born with a disability, that you're going to be scared, there is fear, genuine fear. We're always going to be fearful of the unknown. Fear is just a lack of education. The more we learn, the more we can learn to live rather than exist. And that's the one thing we promised Jude. A good friend of mine said, "Oh wow, Pete, you're making Jude live." And I was like, "Oh, well, of course he's living. He's still with us. He's survived this. He's woke up out of his coma. He's with us." He was like, "No, but you're," and it resonated with me massively to say that we will be his advocates. We will make sure that he lives rather than exists. We just need the system to go with us. We won't be scared. We'll learn. We'll have those wobbles. So ultimately, more than anything, fear is just lack of education. Get out there and learn, share with others, share with each other, support each other, cry, laugh and have a beer, have a swear up if you need to. there's a few things that we have been blind about, but you know,
but
it's
that's
literally
the community, and I think a lot of people have lost belief. God knows, I asked the question, what's the point, so many times, and I don't have belief in the system anymore, but I have belief in, not in myself yet, but I have belief in friends, supporters. Peter's now become a good friend, you know, and I believe in that. And I refuse to pin my existence on hope, because I feel a hope means you're reliant on something else to make a change. And I believe we've always got an option. It's taken me a long time to get to that. But I personally think having belief is more powerful, because you believe, and as long as you can keep fighting whatever it is, and even if you can believe that tomorrow is an unknown, so believe in the what might be, rather than trying to hang your hook your hat on hope for something randomly to change in your life, because we can do more ourselves. But at the end of the day, do anything that's, you know, whatever works for you to get it through. Before we go through, I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, please put it together.